Well, a very good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you find yourself. This is SDIG, the Systemic Diversity and Inclusion Group, coming to you from our headquarters in Maryland in the USA and our technical offices in London and in Karachi. Today we have a pleasure of an event with innovative and creative thinkers who engage and explore global opportunities to foster peace, equity, and economic growth, chaired by our founder and president, Dr. Joseph Nwaye, who will be with you very shortly to introduce his guest. Dr. Nwaye, for those of you who are unfamiliar, has served at various levels from undergraduate to doctoral level and in various administrative positions as the Director of Urban Education Program and the Center for Multicultural Education at Illinois State. For the last 3 years, he has been the president of the nonprofit organization Systemic Diversity and Inclusion Group. Dr. Nwaye's guests this morning or afternoon include Dr. Ray Powers, who is President and Chief Executive Officer of Envisage Global, which is an international continuing education and workforce development provider offering high-quality training options. In partnership with Belhaven University, their curriculum development entitles entities and world-class training partners. They provide college credit certificates, certifications, and badges to enhance skills. Moving on to Dr. Nwaye's next guest this afternoon is Gertrude Machi. Gertrude is the global curator and the founder of the Her Story Circle. She's a fashion designer, a celebrated author, and philanthropy consultant. She's a Rooney International Scholar, multiple TED speaker, and also a member of the New Zealand Rotary Club. Dr. Nwaye will tell you a little bit more about Gertrude, who joined the ranks of these SDIG executives just a matter of weeks ago. Third of all, we have Mr. Jason Way, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Jason. I'm sure you're happy to correct me if that's not the case.
You're perfect.
Thank you so much. Jason is an accomplished P&L executive with, as you can see, extensive multi-country, multi-state leadership experience ranging from marketing and sales to production operations. Has a very strong track record in transforming business to achieve optimal profitability. Jason is skilled in building culture and developing high-performing teams to foster accountability and continuous improvement. Moving into Africa, last but certainly not least, it is our pleasure to introduce Chief Romy Amande Ezeonkwuka, who is CEO of Rogeni Industries Incorporated in Nigeria. His organization has been instrumental in supporting education initiatives across Nigeria for many years. And Dr. Nwaye will be giving you more details on that fairly shortly. But first, it is my pleasure to hand over to the founder and president of the Systemic Diversity and Inclusion Group, Dr. Joseph Nwaye, who will be introducing his guests and taking you through today's event, Creative Thinkers. Dr. Nwaye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adam. I appreciate it. And more importantly, I want to congratulate our guests for coming and thank them very much for coming. These are incredible individuals that I think I'm not usually drawn to people easily, but these people proving beyond the shadow of doubt their talents, their methods, their global reach, and what they can do if we can infuse the synergy I see among them in an effort to do some great things. And as you know, I don't usually introduce people in this program, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. They're going to have time to do that. But before then, I want to say that SDIG is an organization that was set up based on the premise that we want to provide people with safe, open, and inclusive engagement and awareness-raising environment in which individuals or groups could be able to air their views, especially those views that are usually, brushed aside in the society and larger society. At SDIG, we create individuals as well as group learning through our posts, shared member stories, hosted webinars, and discussions such as the one we're having here, and the campus's local as well as global reach. Because we feel like we are in global environment, we have to think globally, we have to act globally with our interests. And we also believe that communication is critical in an effort to develop and build, or rather build the bridge and develop it to connecting people around the world. The most important factor in determining the problems we have, whether it's in families of brothers and sisters or sisters and brothers and so on and so forth, or community leaders who would be disparaging against one another, especially in politics, or states. You see what is happening from Florida, where they're sending people to states they felt would be accommodating to other things, thusly sort of evading the constitutional requirement for those people who are in a plight of trying to save their lives. So we are continuously exploring avenues to bring people together to do the kind of thing we want them to do. And just briefly, before I go to our guests are incredible. They are people I know and I've gotten to know very well, even sometimes within a short time period, but you can really see the quality of individuals. So what I can say on that is that I'm gonna take it to them for them to begin to introduce themselves. They introduce themselves and indicate what they are doing and indicate their not only local vision, but more importantly, a global vision. Because I do believe that if we are connecting the world individually, all the division of rivers of divide, oceans or roads of divides, all of them could be eradicated. Because the problem we have in this world is lack of getting to know one another. And that's why SDIG is in place to foster that. So let's go to Dr. Powers. Dr. Powers, would you tell us about yourself, what you're doing, your partnership, the outreach you've engaged in, and more importantly, how do you see it moving forward in the future? Dr. Powers.
Dr. Nwai, just to let you know from the studio in London, I'm not sure that Dr. Powers has been able to reach us as yet,
Okay.
but he will hopefully be through in a few moments. I shall let you know as soon as he arrives, sir.
Okay, let's shift gear right to Gertrude. Could you please, discuss who you are, what you've been doing, the partnership you've been involved in, and more importantly, how you see the work you are doing going forward?
Gertrude, go ahead. You can unmute yourself from where you are, and you have the stage.
Good evening, Dr. Joseph. Good evening, everyone. This is Gertrude Machi, originally from Zimbabwe, based in Melbourne, Australia. It's an absolute honor to be with you today to share a little bit about myself and the likely collaboration and partnership we can have with this amazing organization. I have, for the last 21 years, worked as a change agent in organizations, as a DEI consultant, bringing in a different perspective, helping immigrants assimilate into the workplace, as well as organizations to find ways to incorporate and include their diverse staff as well. The Her Story Circle movement curates stories from people from all over the world. And again, these stories are being used in different corporate organizations to bring in a different perspective from people from different parts of the world. So thank you so much for having me here today.
Dr. Noye, just to unmute your microphone, sir, and you're back on stage.
Adam, keep muting me. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Gertrude. Let's go to Jason. Could you tell us about you? Tell us about your work. Tell us about what you see yourself working with this team and others in order to foster the activities that will enable you to achieve your goals, and more importantly, connect our global communities. Jason?
Let's just double check that Jason's able to join us. Bear with us one moment.
I thought I saw him earlier. Okay, let's shift gear. Let's go to
It's okay. Jason's with us now. Apologies for that, Jason. You can unmute yourself. Do go ahead.
Okay, great. You guys can hear me now, right?
Perfectly. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for, first of all, to have me here. My name is Jason. I'm from the New York City area of the US. I'm the CEO of Discover Live. Discover Live as a company is a cultural experience company. We use specially trained tour guides from around the world and a Zoom or team-like platform to take people to travel to different destinations to learn about the local beliefs, culture, history, heritage, religion, and traditions. Our program has been a powerful tool to allow people to quickly gain exposure to race, culture, and ethnicity in their most authentic forms, because we take our audience there to experience this life themselves. Throughout my life, my experience has been that people who are well-traveled usually have more appreciation of other cultures and are more inclusive. And this is precisely what we're trying to accomplish as a company. We want to make the world travel simple and accessible to people. And in turn, this actually opens people's minds and make them to realize what I think two important things. One is our world is different, and the difference is beautiful and powerful. And secondly, at the core, there are more commonalities amongst the people than differences as what we appear as our own identities. My vision is that through all of our collective effort, when our next generation is taking over the world, DEI is no longer a necessity, but a given. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it. Can you move to Chief Regeni? Could you tell us about yourself, what you are doing, and how you see the partnership as well as working with this collective number of people you've seen here in what they do? Regeni.
Yeah, that's a second, Dr. Nwire. Just going to see if we can get Chief Regeni online. I think he's still with us, but there may have been a few connectivity issues. Bear with us 1 second.
Okay, let's shift gear. Let's go to Dr. Power if he's here yet. Is he here?
Dr. Powers is indeed with us. Dr. Powers, you are able to unmute your microphone and your camera if you so wish, sir.
Okay, Dr. Power, could you please tell this audience the wonderful things you have been doing and the kind of partnership you've developed and ongoing, and how those things are going to be helping us as we move forward? And of course, tell them whatever else you want to tell them. So Dr. Powers, it's your floor now.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, great. Sorry about the trouble getting in. I'm at a conference and not where I wanted to be this morning, but in any event, I'm Ray Powers, the CEO of Envisage Global. It's an education company based on a variety of research and experience that we've had in my past career. So I'm a practitioner, 30 years with AT&T, followed by some entrepreneurial ventures as CEO of technology companies and things like that. But along the way, I tried to ensure that we provided a value proposition for both students, employees, and the business community. And I ended up, as a result of working on degree programs that would accomplish that goal, as a professor and a dean within the Forbes School of Business. Part of my task was to be the liaison between Forbes Media and the university. And I established a board of advisors populated by business experts. And I'll give you some examples. Steve Forbes was on the board, Rich Karlgaard, who's the publisher of Forbes magazine, Ken Fisher, you've heard a million advertisements from him. He's a billionaire. Those people gave an honest and true perspective on the product that we were producing from the university, which was the graduate student. And the criticism was that those students had academic knowledge, but could not use practical application of academic theory. In other words, they weren't functional as graduate students. And of course, the universities are disadvantaged in some ways because as the culture and the evolution of technology continues, universities have a hard time keeping their curriculum current and viable. They've got to go through the Department of Education, through an accreditation agency, through faculty governance, through internal administrative issues, through state BPPE organizations, all of which delay the introduction of a new curriculum. And as a consequence, when you finally get it into the hands of the student, it's obsolete. And so that's business's criticism of the current structure of education, at least in the U.S. So Envisage was formed to mitigate some of those concerns by virtue of partnering with companies like SDIG and others, because none of us are subject matter experts in every discipline. So we use complementary core competencies to ensure that we can address any industry segment. And further, we partner with universities to do an assessment, a PLA assessment, that allows for an independent quality assurance perspective and also allows for college credit for the courses that we offer. In that way, students can take advantage of what they need relative to complementary core competencies immediately, continue with their degree as they wish, but we help business by providing what I think is an innovative approach to education and how it can be applied.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Powers. And let's shift to Chief Romney. Could you mute yourself and tell us about the work you have been doing? I happen to be familiar with some of them, but I would like you to, in your own words, tell them what you've been doing and potentially ways you could communicate, connect with others in order to enhance the kind of things you've been doing for some time now. Regeni.
Chief Rajani, if you'd just like to unmute your microphones so that we can all hear you in the studio and across the room.
Thank you, Mr. Adam.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Joseph. Thank you, Power. I'm happy I have spoken with you before, and welcome every other person on this meeting. Well, myself, Chief Romezonka, Madizonka, my dream has been to be part of development that can actually unify the world, unify the people of the world. On that platform, I have interest in developing tourism and sports. And I've been able to establish a tourism village in Nigeria. And I've tried to register a tourism campaign in America here. And I have a company, America Nigeria Ancestral Tours. My dream of that is to package a tourist from America to Nigeria, so that a lot of blacks, the ancestors were here 100 years ago, can able to get back to where the ancestors come from. This is a dream. This is a very positive dream. And it will be like a pilgrimage, which every new generation in America would like to be part of. And I'm the CEO of that America Nigeria Ancestral Tours. And I'm the CEO of Rogeni Tourist and Games Village. Rogeni Tourist Games Village is a very multi investment where you have an Olympic sized stadium with 8-lane tartan track field, and every sport events are located in the village. One village comprising the school, every sporting events are there. And 96, we had the Atlanta 96 Olympic Games. Some of the boys that actually joined Nigeria team to win that Olympic gold medal in Atlanta here was some of boys that passed through my stadium. So I believe that tourism and sports, whoever sees how the Olympic, the World Cup, unites the world, must agree with me that my line of business should be encouraged. And if you look at the third world, or what I call developing world, you find out what makes them stronger and be acceptable to the rest of the world is sports. And I was excited July when one of my country girl break the world record in Oregon, 100-meter hurdle. My country was jubilating. And if you see what the sports has made some countries like Brazil, like Jamaica, you find out that my line of thought, investing so heavily on sports development, is a welcome idea. So based on that, I believe I'm in a right channel of global unity through tourism and sports. So this is my submission.
Right. Thank you so much. And you know, as you can see from the discussions of people or our guests expressing what they do, you can see where they're going. They all have idea of uniting the world. A famous American historian, David McClellan, in his recent book, The American Spirit, he stated, I quote, "Everyone who ever lived has been affected, changed, shaped, helped, or hindered by others." Now, we are in a situation where we're going to be making decisions as to what do we want. Do we want to influence progress for all? Do we want to help people who may be at the level where they will otherwise not allowed to go forward? We see what is happening, whether it's in England with the death of the Queen, different perspectives. Some people want to change the history. Some people say, no, you're going to look at the history more holistically, the good, the bad, and ugly. You're going to go with all of them. But for people who may say, well, this is the way they want it to be, it's never going to happen. The similar thing is here in the United States, where some people are talking about whether we should teach critical race theory or not. Well, critical race theory is a history. It's a reflection of history. And unfortunately, the people that say we shouldn't teach that are usually people who are even highly educated, and it's kind of disturbing. So with these individuals we have here, you can see that they could provide us means of bridging the divide, shortening the divide, making us do better. So with that, I would want to ask Gertrude, could you tell us how you think that these individuals from different places around the world, you are coming from Australia, Rujeni coming from Nigeria, Dr. Powell coming from United States, and my friend Jason is multifaceted in where he has been. Could you tell us what you see that we can do together to unite this group and for us together move forward in a way that will be productive and beneficial to all?
Thank you, Dr. Joseph. One of the ideas that I had in mind was perhaps us collaborating and putting together a conference that could bring all of the different parties in one space. So we not only meet, but share our individual projects and stories and find ways that we can collaborate on a global level. That's one of my strengths, is in organizing and coordinating major conferences and events.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think it's very, very important and fitting in this discussion that we have to look at things forward. What are we going to do, setting small goals here and there and using our abilities to get to that point? So the fact that you mentioned the conference is a very good one because it sustains this discussion and even more discussions. And it's proper for me to say that SDIG is actually exploring possibility of having a conference sometime in March in recognition of women and their fight for equity and social justice. So hopefully Gertrude will get her talents here in helping us in shaping that so that we can have that conference sometime in March next year. So thank you for that question. Now to Jason, having been doing what you've been doing, focusing on the issue of equity and social justice for all, having the ability to have been in different parts of the world, can you tell us how you see this group working in collaboration with one another in order to enhance what each individual or groups are doing in order to foster global peace, equity, and social justice for all.
Sure, thank you. You mentioned about the death of the Queen Elizabeth II, and that there is a reason why it has caused mixed reactions. People will always have different opinions based on their points of view and how much they know about certain things. But I think, as a collective group, we must first involve contradictory parties. I think that's the very first thing, and to seek the truth. Based on that, seek to understand the motivations behind the contradictory parties. As the leaders ourselves, I think we will then need to establish clear goals based on the best interest of everyone as a whole, and then involve the contradictory parties to together brainstorm solutions to best meet those goals. In my business, for example, whenever there is a conflict in opinion between the different business functions, I always ask people, what would they do in the situation if they were a business owner or investor instead of a business function leader? This will allow everyone in the decision-making process to think bigger and to focus on the common goal instead of the individual goals. I think that's really what's necessary for everyone in order to move forward more effectively.
Thank you so much. Former U.S. Senator Patrick Monahan said that, let me know if I can put him correctly, but I'm just gonna say, he said that, let me just put it this way, everyone is entitled to his or her opinion, but not his truth. Again, this goes to the heart of what you alluded to. There's nothing like truthful engagement. It frees every mind, it lets everybody free. But when you have something that is not in line with the complete truth, there's always some, not very sure in it. So I think your comment is quite, important. So we gotta get together in order to foster not only to tell the truth, but also to have the vision moving forward to the benefit of all. By the way, I look at where you are, these beautiful bags, and it looks very good. Now, let's shift to Rojeni. Rojeni, I know that you are present in the United States, and you are quite a well-traveled guy, and knowing what you've done over there, which I think you de-emphasize in terms of educational arena, in terms of helping politicians to sway them on the right direction. Now, based on those experiences, what can you say to this group that would hearten them as they strive to create a better world, a world of peace, equity, and social justice for all? Rojeni.
Thank you. I believe that the aspiration, the hope the youths have in sports is so needed that the sponsorship in that direction will be one of the great beneficial the youth can have. The school system in America goes with sports, so also some other developed places. But now in Nigeria, with the opportunity on the ground where the facilities are available, the only thing that is important is the sponsorship in actually gearing the talented youth into the facility that is available to get them, because we have many of them. We have Nigeria has so many sports talented youths, but the educational system is not, incorporating it as it is in some of this developed world. So we need something like a body that can actually sponsor sports development on the facility that is available. This is not a question of the facility. The facility is already there. A facility that has all events that will compete in Olympic games. But it's a question of sponsorship. That is exactly what in the area that is my need shall go. And that's the area my need can go. Sponsorship of getting the talents, develop them. They are good. We have thousands of them in my country. So that partnership is there. Partnership in sponsoring the sports development in Nigeria. And most of these good ones can find themselves in all parts of the world. And again, the tourism aspect of it, I'm organizing package tours between the America and Nigeria. And the one that has come, they enjoy it. But for now, there's a little bit insecurity in my country. But the channel is so good, so accepted. It's called the ancestral tours. So new generation want to get to Africa to know more in Africa, to know their culture, because their ancestors saw themselves here, and the new generation want to pay pilgrimage to where the ancestors come from. So these are the very positive channel of things I believe that I'm doing.
Thank you very much, Chief Rugeni. I think this is a good segue to back to Dr. Power. Is Dr. Power still here?
Hello, Dr. Meyer. This is Sedley in London. Yes, Dr. Powers is with us in the room. He may be on a call, bearing in mind he's in a conference at the moment. Dr. Powers.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for connecting, Mr. Adams. Dr. Power, I don't know if you had what Chief Rugeni stated, and it kind of reminds me of the discussion we had just 2 days ago, where you have been, working so hard in terms of, sports, connecting sports with school, academic, and so on and so forth. And I wondering, how do you see this development? How do you see how this type of relationship or partnership could help to not only accentuate what you're doing to the level where I hope that you're gonna get, but more so to expand it, just as you're expanding the academic front?
Sure. Well, first of all, I agree with my colleagues on the panel. There's an excellent opportunity to maybe have a conference, get together, share ideas, have ideation sessions, collaboration, and discuss partnership opportunities. But the essence of what I think we can provide in terms of a value proposition overall worldwide is education. So if we can provide leadership training, entrepreneurship, things like that, that we can provide at a cost-effective basis, that would, I think, be something of value to society and obviously to the future of all of our countries, by just making sure that students have access to the appropriate education. Relative to the sports initiative, just within the last couple of weeks, we were engaged to design, provide curriculum for, and manage, administer a private high school that is destined to be a pretty outstanding opportunity, and it incorporates both a focus on academics, the highest quality academics, by virtue of integrating higher order thinking into high school courses like critical thinking and cognitive dissonance, things like that, that typically high school students don't get exposed to until they get into college. And if we can do that effectively, we have a university partner that will assign college credit for those high school students. So when they graduate, they'll have as much as 2 years of college already under their belt. The other side of the coin, the other focus in that initiative is a focus on sports. So I have two partners in that initiative. One is Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Company. And if you know Lee, he's, I think, the premier sports agent in the world. He has, I don't know how many Hall of Fame folks that he's been the agent for. If you remember the movie that's Show Me the Money, I can't remember the name of the movie. That's about Lee Steinberg. That's who Lee is. So in terms of excellence in sports, he's bringing curriculum. He teaches attorneys and sports agents and coaches and people like that with his curriculum, which has become part of our Envisage curriculum. The other partner is Legacy Sports USA. And you may not have heard of them, but they have the largest sports campus in the world, 320 acres, state of the art, just opened in February. And so we're going to leverage those two outstanding partners with our perception and view of academia and provide a global destination of choice for students that are interested in either excellence in academic criteria or in the sports world. And of course, part of the value on the sports side is that Lee, as an agent, can certainly assist people think that they want to go professional, although that's probably a small minority of folks. But our approach is going to be to combine all of those initiatives, and so I'll give you more information if you have a need or desire to know about it. But it's a pretty exciting project for us, and I think it fits with the global perspective that we're all discussing today. How can we help, our society, the future of our society, our children, and also, follow our personal perspective on, providing excellence in education.
Thank you so much, Dr. Powers. And I think at this point, I want to ask our guests if they have a particular question they can ask any of the members, or ways we can continue these discussions, because one of the things ISDIG is backing on is that it's not one shot deal. You don't build relationship in one shot deal. We're gonna look at how can one support one another, how can we connect one another. I think Gertrude articulated the thinking of our having an international conference that could bring these individuals here as well as other people. Dr. Powell didn't tell you much of others, but she's actually extending his footprints to various parts of the world, including in Nigeria, where he's already partnered with an institution of higher learning, and the process continues until we get into this. So if you have any question, you can ask any of your peers that are in this guests. Could you please ask that question? If you don't have a question, I'm just gonna pause. If I don't hear anyone ask question to a particular person or to all of you, then I'm gonna shift gear to having audience questions.
I have a question for Dr. Powers.
Okay.
Dr. Powers, I believe you have quite a bit of resources, training material that you offer. Is that accessible to communities all over the world? I have a number of projects in Zimbabwe working with youth. I would love to learn more about what you have to offer.
Yes, it certainly is. We've got, I think, about 2,000 or so courses in various disciplines. And now we'll also have an emphasis. Most of those are college level courses or senior executive level courses and things like that. But now we have an emphasis in our developing K through 12 curriculum as well. And be glad to share that with you. I'll put you in touch with Amanda, who's our operations executive, and she can provide all the information you need.
My particular interest is in coding. I have a project called Cultivating Coders. And do any of your courses come with certifications so that once somebody has finished a course, they can get access to work?
Yes, we partner with Simply Learn and IntelliPat for their relationships with Microsoft, Google, Apple, and others, so that not only will they get college credit for those courses, but they will also get official certifications. And I'm pretty sure we have a portfolio of coding courses. I'll have to check on that, but yes, that sounds right in line with what we do. All the courses we offer have been through that certification process, so they're all excellent courses and they're all eligible for college credit of some sort. But more importantly, it's practical application of academic theory. How can I use this knowledge for my career, for my family, for my country, whatever? So yeah, thanks for the question. Appreciate it.
And my last question is there a cost associated with this?
Yes, there typically is. It's the courses aren't free, but what we've done as our commitment to communal value is try to price it consistent with the culture that you're using it in. So we can't use U.S. prices necessarily in Nigeria, and so we've made concessions to try to match the current environment, and we're pretty flexible in that regard. So we can chat about that.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, I would love to connect with you on that level.
Okay, to that, Mr. Adam, I'm pretty sure that the messages I sent included their emails so they can see all the emails. But for purposes of, if one didn't see it or didn't understand because there are many names in it, Adam, would you please set up something where you have their names, their emails, and if you have it in their telephone numbers and sent to them so that everyone has contact number for one another. And Gertrude, I can say also that Amanda's Dr. Parr indicated is an excellent person to work with. I can't think of a better person that you can connect with and they can provide you the kind of information you need. The power is always running like helter-skelter sometimes that he doesn't have time to do those things, but I'm sure he will also be connected and making sure that things are going the right way. Now, if in absence of questions from any of you, then I'm gonna shift. Okay, it seems like Rojani say he has question, but you are muted, Rojani.
Okay.
Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, this question goes to Ray Power. Ray Power, I was happy when you mentioned of the training the students for them to go for professionals. And the possibility of having the agents in the Nigeria school system and the sports development so that those students can actually get that mastership of whatever the talent they have, lawn tennis, soccer, basketball, and so on and so forth, athletics. And then they're good to go for professional, because we have thousands of them in my community looking for the sponsors in training them. So possibility of these agents is what I'm asking, the possibility of sponsors. Thank you.
Again, as I said, there's nothing like continuous exploration, continuous engagement, breaking all the bridges that divide. Former US president said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. So if you move in that direction, I think we will all be happy getting to this united front and supporting one another in wherever they are. All right. I guess we're gonna be shifting, or unless Jason, do you have a question?
I'm good at this moment. Thank you.
Okay. Now let's shift to the audience. Adam, could you monitor the audience and figure out? Okay, I see that Fedelis is raising his hand. Fedelis, please go. Fedelis?
Fidelis, go ahead. You can unmute your microphone and go ahead with your question.
Okay, if Fedelis is not speaking, then let's shift to, okay, it seems that he's muted.
Yes, Fidelis, you can unmute your microphone if you wish from your end, and please go ahead with your question. Otherwise, we'll come back to you in a moment.
Fedelis, last call. Ask your question, Fedelis. All right, let's go to Patricia.
Okay,
Patricia.
Patricia, go ahead, unmute your microphone and go ahead with your question.
Okay. You can hear me now, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. I just want to say that I've learned a lot from all of the speakers, creative thinkers, because I consider myself as the #1 creative thinker. So with that being said, I was thinking about, because I've been reading about the drone industry, which we all have witnessed an exciting growth in this past year. And there are some articles about the drone industry and diversity. I love everything that you guys are doing, but have any of you thought about breaking into the drone industry?
Drone industry.
Drone, yes. Which I'm going to fly you from here to Nigeria on a drone.
This is Ray Powers. I'll just comment that we are we're market driven, and so if there's an interest and a growing interest in specific industry segments, we are interested in providing whatever we can in terms of training and education in that segment. And again, we do that in partnership with best-in-class partners that have familiarity within that segment. So yeah, we would have an interest, although we haven't done anything in that regard yet.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Fidelis. Fidelis, can you speak now? can you ask your question? Adam, could you check on Fidelis to know what's going on there?
Hello, Fidelis. This is Sadly in the studio in London. You are able to unmute your microphone whenever you're ready. Just tap on your microphone button and you can go ahead and ask your question to Dr. Nwaye and his guests.
All right. It doesn't seem like Fidelis is with us. Who else has question?
Hey, Dr. Noe, this is Jason. I just want to just comment on that drone question.
Okay.
I actually know of somebody who is actually establishing a platform for the drone pilot, and you know, it's a platform similar to Uber, so that basically gives, you know, all the drone pilots a possibility to bid on projects all over the world. And if you're interested, I can connect you with that person so that you can learn more about what that person's doing.
Right. That sounds good. Thank you very much, Patricia. You've got it here now. Okay. Thank you so much, Jason. That's the power of connection, because sometimes when Patricia asked the question, I thought, drone, I thought this is what they're using to kill people. I'm like, what's she talking about? Then obviously there are some dimensions of it that I don't know. So I have to, you know, learn more about that. All right.
But I wanted to say one other thing, please. I think that's an area where high school students could be our breakthrough, because they are creative thinkers and they understand that gaming and all of that stuff, things that we probably hadn't thought about. So I'll find your number and then give you a call. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Any more question? In the absence of question, I think we're gonna shift to the members and have our guests will make closing remarks and give us something that we can look forward to moving forward to sustain our work and how we are doing this. Okay, let's go to Jason. Jason, would you please give us some closing remarks and something that we can take away and go and be happy with it?
Sure, thank you. You know, I want you guys to take a look at my background. Maya Angelou once said, when you know better, you do better. We at Discover Life believe the more you experience the world, talk to the locals, and learn about other cultures, the more you will appreciate how beautiful our world is because of our own differences. You will also realize, however we're different individually, we all belong to the same humankind that shares the same common values. And at the end, we're all the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that heartening statement. I love Maya Angelou's words. She was, I don't know. All right, let's go to Dr. Powers. Could you give us some closing remarks? Is Dr. Powers still with us? Mr. Adam?
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Nwaye. Yes, Dr. Powers is with us. I'd like to remind our live audience that he is currently also multitasking in the conference, so it may take a couple of minutes to respond. Just to let you know, Dr. Nwaye, Fidelis is raising his hand. I'd just like to let him know, Fidelis, just to let you know that you can unmute your microphone. You can see on your screen how you can do so. You can unmute your microphone because we have facilitated that for you now. Unmute your microphone so that we can hear you, and you can go ahead with your question.
Fidelis, well, we're gonna shift gear. Let's get the closing remarks from all the members of our, the guests. Okay, let's shift to Chief Rogeni. Could you give us closing remarks?
Yeah, I thank everybody. Like as I previously said, the area of my interest is actually the unity of the global family. That's the area I embark seriously on sports development and tourism. Because everybody knows whenever it is a global sports competition, Olympic, World Cup, the whole family is one. So I need encouragement and this area, and I believe that with sports, the whole world are united. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Now, let's go to Gertrude. Gertrude, could you give us some closing remarks that we can take and keep it with us while we are moving to Be Happy?
Dr. Nwai, hi, this is Sedley in London. Just checking whether we still have Gertrude with us in the room. Doesn't appear to be the case. I can't tell you whether that's just a connectivity question, but
Okay.
we don't currently have her with us in the room.
Okay, and the power is not here either, right?
I'm just putting out a quick
Now,
message to Dr. Powers for
if
you.
he's not available, then let's go and give Fidelix one more chance to ask his question.
Hi, Fidelis. This is Sedley in the studio in London. Just letting you know that on your screen now, you can see your screen controls, and you simply click on the microphone button to unmute yourself so that we can hear you in this event. So just click on your microphone button where you can see it on the top right-hand side of your screen. You'll turn your audio on so that we can hear you.
Okay. I think we've given Fidelis all the time we could.
I think Dr. Powers is with us back in the room, Dr. Nwai, just to let you know.
Okay, Dr. Powell, we are getting closing remarks from our guests. So I'm wondering if you could give us some closing remarks that we can all take and be thinking about and be focusing on the future as to what we can do to facilitate all the type of things you guys have articulated very well.
Sure. I think, as my colleagues on the panel have suggested, there's a variety of ways I think we can work together. Complementary core competencies always win the day. Let's collaborate, whether it's a formal get together or informal on a regular basis. That generates new ideas and opportunities. More than happy to participate in that kind of a forum. And I think that's our best approach.
Thank you so much. And Adam, I want you to check on Gertrude once more and see whether she's still available. Otherwise, we're going to be closing this particular one. And I'm very, very pleased with all those that contributed in one way or the other. Mr. Adam?
Thank you, Dr. Nwai. Good afternoon, good evening to everybody from the studio here in London and Karachi. Gertrude Machi, our newly joined executive at SDIG, who is in Australia at some awful time in the morning, is currently offline. So whether that's
Hello.
tiredness or whether that's
I'm really sorry for interrupting you, Adams. She already left as it's, it's 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Her time.
I know. We gotta be factoring
She
those
dropped a
things.
message. She dropped a message in the chat.
Okay. Thank you so much for keeping us informed, Mr. Maya. Well, you can see that I really appreciate all the people that participated in this, and our guests in particular, and the kind of talents they brought into this equation. What I would ask members of this community is to continue in our effort to continue uniting, continue to work together, break all the walls, whether they're real or artificial, strive towards breaking all those walls. And together, we're going to create a better community, better society, a better world, I might add. All right. On that note, I think it's fair for me to say thank you and have a good day. And this will be the end of this session.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Nwaye, and thank you very much to our guests, Ms. Gertrude Machi, Dr. Ray Powers, Jason Way in New York, and Chief Romney Amandi Azewonkwa in Nigeria. This has been an SDIG live event curated out of Maryland in the USA, out of London in the UK, and out of Karachi in Pakistan. Many thanks to our studio manager, Sumar Khatun, who, as usual, carrying out a fantastic job. And for those of you that would like to get in touch with Dr. Powers, on your screen now, if you're watching live, this will not work on YouTube. If you're watching live, then just click on the links for Dr. A. Powers or Envisage Global or envisageconnect.com or his LinkedIn. If you'd like to contact Gertrude, then click on the link there for herstorycircle.com or on her name, and you'll go to her LinkedIn. If you'd like to get in touch with Jason Way, you can do so by clicking on the link underneath his name, Jason Way, or of course, www.discoverlive or his LinkedIn address. For the rest of SDIG, you will find that our links are also live for those of you that are live with us in this event. Our live brochure, our journal, which is a new edition coming out very shortly in the next few weeks, our main website at systemicdiversity.org, and of course, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. On behalf of Dr. Nwaye and the whole of the SDIG studio team, thank you very much indeed for joining us, leaving you with Bob Marley and the Wailers saying good afternoon, good evening, and good night.